Good day, class. Welcome once again to my YouTube channel, and this time, biology. So, what we are going to be looking at is the topic in biology that is a very, very broad topic, and I believe that this topic will be having maybe a series of videos, up to about 3 to 4 videos. It all depends. On our topic is nutrition. Nutrition. Nutrition is a very broad topic in the world of biology. So I will take my time to explain so many concepts that are associated with nutrition. So you have to pay attention to everything that I will say. Now, the first part of nutrition that we are going to be considering, nutrition as a word is a characteristic of living organism. That's clear. Of course, then living organisms, when I started biology class, I told you guys that we have living organisms to be either plants or animals. So the nutrition that we are looking at will be based on animals' nutrition. Talking about food substances. Food substances. You know that animals they basically derive their nutrients from food. Okay? And we all know that food is any liquid or solid substance when ingested or taken into the body, provides energy, repairs worn out tissues, and aids in growth and development of the body. Okay? Then we know that we have some persons who say there are three classes of food. Some we believe and say that there are six, some will even say there are seven. So whichever. In a context where you say there are three classes of food, it means that you are referring to the main classes of food. Of course, we have about seven, and the seven classes of food are we have carbohydrates, we have proteins, we have fats and oils, then we have vitamins, then we have mineral salts, then we have water, and we have raw veggies. Now, the ones that are considered to be the main classes of food are three, and it happens to be the first three here: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats and oils. These ones are considered as macronutrients. So please don't mistake macronutrients for macro elements or macro minerals. Okay, I'm going to explain that when we get to mineral salts. Then the next three are considered as micronutrients. They are required by the body cells in small amounts, while these ones they are required in large amounts. And then the raw veggies are just in passing. What do I mean? Like they are not digested, neither are they absorbed by the body cells, but they are just in passing. They help to ease the passage of undigested food materials in the colon, or simply put, the large intestine. And of course, you know that they help to prevent constipation in that sense, and also they help to prevent flatulence. Now, constipation is a condition where so much food materials are in your body and they are unattended to by enzymes, meaning they are so much and they are not digested. And flatulence is the overcreation of excess gas in the bowels. Okay, that leads to discomfort. All right. So let's come to the main classes of food, talking about the carbohydrates, proteins, and the fats and oils. I'll be touching them briefly, so you just pay attention. For carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates are substances, food materials that are made up of three elements. And what are the three elements? Of course, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Let's break this word down. Carbohydrates. I can split into two parts. Carbon is coming from carbon. From your chemistry lesson, carbon has a symbol C. Hydrate, anything that is associated with hydrate is of hydration. And when we say hydration, it means the addition of water. And of course, water has a formula H2O. So when I combine them, it gives me CH2O. So that's the reason why carbohydrates in some texts, biology texts, we will say carbohydrates are substances that are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in the ratio 1 to 2 to 1 respectively. They are energy providers. They provide energy to the body, and they have different classes. Now let's see the classes of carbohydrates. Classes of carbohydrates. Now, in O level, you will be taught three classes of carbohydrates, but in A level, you have multiple classes. But let's concentrate on the three classes of carbohydrates. First is the monosaccharides. So we have the monosaccharides, then we have the disaccharides, and the polysaccharides. The monosaccharides, the disaccharides, and the polysaccharides. Now, the monosaccharides are also called single sugars. Single sugars. Okay? Then the disaccharides are called double sugars. Double sugars. Then these ones are called complex sugars. Complex sugars. Complex sugars. Or you can simply call them non-sugars. Now we explain why they are called non-sugars. Now the reason why the polysaccharides are called non-sugars is because they do not possess the attributes of sugars. And what are some of the attributes of sugars? One, sugars are generally sweet, but polysaccharides they do not have any taste. They are tasteless. Then two, sugars are crystallizable, meaning they occur in crystalline forms. But for polysaccharides, they are non-crystallizable, meaning they are non-crystalline in forms. Okay? Then three, sugars are generally soluble in water, but for these ones, they are insoluble in water. So that's the reason why they are regarded as non-sugars also. Okay? For the monosaccharides, the classical examples of the monosaccharides are usually the hexoses, meaning the hexose sugars. And the classical examples include we have glucose, we have galactose, and then we have fructose. Now these are examples of monosaccharides. For disaccharides, we have examples such as maltose. We have maltose, we have lactose, and then we have sucrose. So these are examples of disaccharides. Then for polysaccharides, starch, we have cellulose, we have glycogen, we have inulin. Please, never should you mistake inulin for insulin. Now, insulin is a glucose processing hormone, then while inulin is a polysaccharide, and it is made up of repeated units of fructose. Majority of polysaccharides are made up of repeated units of glucose, but the exemption here is inulin, that is made up of repeated units of fructose. And they will still have another known as chitin. Now, chitin. Okay? So these are examples of polysaccharides. And again, monosaccharides gives rise to disaccharides and polysaccharides. How? Mono means one. So these ones are regarded as 1 unit sugars. Then these ones are regarded as 2 unit sugars. Then these ones are multiple or many unit sugars. But mind you, the monosaccharides, when you have a monosaccharide, mono plus mono gives a disaccharide. And this reaction proceeds upon the elimination of a molecule of water. That process is called condensation. So the thing is this, when you are aggregating several units to form a large macromolecule, you can term it condensation, meaning small to big is condensation. Then what about when you want to get back the small units from that big unit is by hydrolysis. So it means if I hydrolyze a disaccharide, I'm going to get 2 monosaccharides. If I condense 2 monosaccharides, I'm going to get what? A disaccharide. That's just the mechanism. Okay? Now, I can show you how you can get the disaccharides by adding monosaccharides. Like in the case of glucose plus glucose will give you a maltose unit. Then glucose plus galactose will give you a lactose unit. Okay? Then glucose plus fructose will give you a sucrose unit. Okay? So the sugar that is found in malt is called maltose. Then the one that is found in milk is called lactose. Then the one that is found in cane is called sucrose. Okay? Alright, so these are the monosaccharides. Upon the elimination of a molecule of water, you get the disaccharides. And then another thing to take cognizance of is that monosaccharides, they are known for their general formula C6H12O6. Remember, I told you that the common examples of monosaccharides usually occur in the form of hexoses. By hexoses or hexose sugars, they are sugars that contain 6 carbons. Okay, so that's it. And it is only the hexose sugars that are capable of carrying out the different condensation reactions that can proceed to yielding disaccharides and polysaccharides. So for the general formula of disaccharides is given to be C12H22O11. Therefore, polysaccharides is given to be C6H10O5. Okay? So what do you observe? You'd observe that across board of all the classes of carbohydrates, the only thing that remains constant is the ratio of the hydrogen to the oxygen, which is 2:1. Check. 12 to 6 is 2:1, 22 to 11 is 2:1, 10 to 5 is 2:1. You see it now? So it means that there is a generalized formula of all carbohydrates, and that is given as CXH2O all in bracket Y. Or you can represent this as CXH2YOY when you open the brackets. So it's this same thing, okay? So just take cognizance of the fact that these are the respective formula of the classes of carbohydrates, and don't forget that carbohydrates are considered as energy providers or energy giving food. Let's move on to looking at proteins. That's the next. Now, proteins are macronutrients, meaning they are required by the body cells in large amounts. And of course, the end product of protein digestion yields what? Amino acids. Amino acids, okay? And of course, you should know that when you break down protein yielding amino acids, that process is called hydrolysis. Then what about you want to aggregate several units of amino acids to form protein? Is condensation, just like in the case of mono to poly is condensation, then poly to mono is hydrolysis, or reduce di to mono is hydrolysis when mono to di is condensation. So don't forget that that's in the case of carbohydrates. Then again, we have classes of proteins. Proteins are considered to be energy and non-energy giving. They provide energy too, but they help in the repair of worn out tissues, and also they build the body cells. They are involved in building of the body cells, okay? And again, there are two main classes of proteins. We have the animal proteins, and then we have the plant proteins, okay? Animal proteins and plant proteins. Now, when we say animal proteins, we are referring to proteins that are usually obtained from animal sources. The white plant proteins are proteins that are obtained from plant sources, okay? Now, examples of protein sources, animal protein sources include, we have egg, we have fish, we have meat, we have the others. Then in terms of plant proteins, we have cowpea, the legumes, we have soya beans, we even have beans, and the rest of them. But mind you, many students they make blunder in that whenever they are told to give the examples of proteins, they will be giving examples such as fish, meat, egg, and the rest. Those are not examples. Those are sources of proteins. Now, examples of proteins include things like fibrinogen, we have protein, we have albumin, we have albumin. Now listen, don't mistake one for the other. We also have avidin and the rest. Now listen, albumin and albumin, they are two different proteins. Now the one that is found in the whitish part of an egg is called albumin, the one with the EN. But the one that is found in the blood, a blood transport protein, is albumin, the one with the IN. Okay, so these are examples of proteins. Okay, then we can also have protein that is present in milk, which is called carcinogen. This one is found in milk. Okay, then the one that is found in flour is gluten. That's the protein that is present in flour. So these are examples of proteins. Then, deficiency of proteins in one's diet can lead to a condition in adults called kwashiorkor. kwashiorkor. Okay. Then while in children between the ages of 0 to 1 year, it can lead to a condition known as marasmus. Okay, so that's for the deficiency of proteins. Then the next is fats and oils. Fats and oils. Now, fats and oils is a class of food that helps in temperature regulation, in that they help to prevent heat loss. They act as heat insulators. Okay, and again, fats and oils, there is actually a transition temperature between both. Both of them are similar, not exactly the same. Now, the solid form of oil is fat, like the liquid form of fat is oil. Generally, fats are solids at room temperature, while oils are liquids at room temperature. Fats are usually of animal sources or origin. Oils are usually of plant sources or origin. And again, we also have the fact that this one and this, most times, I don't know whether you must have seen this in some context, that they write them as lipids, but that's not really correct in a way. I'm not saying totally, but in a way, in that lipids could mean diverse groups of food materials with fats and oils inclusive rather. Now, do you know that we still have fat soluble vitamins to be examples of lipids? So lipids are considered to be a large macromolecule that comprise the fats and oils and other fats and oils related components. Okay, so that's it. And again, you should know that since I said it regulates body temperature, it is found deep beneath the skin, talking about the subcutaneous layer of the skin, the adipose tissues of the skin, and then it tends to regulate what body temperature. In case you come across a question, what class of food regulates body temperature? It remains the fats and oils. Let's progress to looking at the vitamins. 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 Now, vitamins are simply biocatalysts that are required by the body cells in small amounts or in minute quantities by the body cells, and then they help to actually carry out proper functioning of the body's metabolism. Of course, we have different classes. There happen to be two classes. We have the fat soluble vitamins. We have the fat soluble vitamins, and then we have the water soluble vitamins. The fat soluble vitamins and the water soluble vitamins. Now, for the fat soluble vitamins, we have four vitamins under this, and they are vitamin A, D, E, and K. So I call it vitamin A to remember. Okay. Then for the water soluble vitamins, they happen to be nine vitamins, meaning we have the vitamin B complex and vitamin C. Now, B complex means we have 8 different B vitamins. Okay, we have the B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B9, B7, B12. Okay, so those are examples of the different vitamins B that we have. Okay, so we are going to take a good look at each of them one after the other. So to start with, let's look at the first vitamin, still on vitamins. So we have vitamin A. Vitamin A is also called retinol. Retinol. Now, it's associated with the part of the eyes that is called retina. Retina is called the photosensitive part of the eyes. And of course, anything pertaining to this vitamin, we're talking about its deficiency, is associated with the eyes. So it means when it is there in its right amount, it helps in the proper functioning of the eyes for good vision. But in a case where it is deficient, it can lead to two conditions. One is night blindness. Night blindness. Now, night blindness has a scientific name. You can call it nectalopia. Nectalopia. And then it can also lead to another condition known as xerophthalmia. Xerophthalmia. Okay? Xerophthalmia, which is the dryness of the eyes, the inability of the lacrimal gland, the tears gland, to secrete or produce tears. And that completely leads to blindness if not properly checked. Then we have the next vitamin B1, B2, B3, B5. Now, B1 is called thiamine. Then B2 is called riboflavin. riboflavin. Then B3 is called niacin, or you can call it nicotinic acid. Then B5 is called pantothenic acid. Now, these four vitamin Bs, they act as coenzymes in respiratory processes. And you know, respiration, the ultimate aim of carrying out respiration is to get energy. Okay? And of course, if these ones act as coenzymes in respiratory processes, it means if any of them is deficient, it can in turn lead to respiratory disorders. But among these four, the first three, we have their unique deficiencies defects. Now, in the case of B1, deficiency leads to very. Then B2 deficiency leads to sore mouth, sore throat. That's the scarring of the angles of the mouth, the walls of the mouth, which is called angular pillosis, or you can say stomatitis. So all those are conditions that are associated with B2 deficiency. Then B3 deficiency leads to pellagra. Okay. Then we have B6, we have B7, we have B9, we have B12, we have C, we have D. Then we also have E, we have K. Okay. Now, for B6, it's also called pyridoxine. Then B7 is called biotin. Then B9 is called folic acid. Then B12 is called cobalamin. Okay. Then C is called ascorbic acid. Then D is called calciferol. E is called tocopherol. Then K is called phylloquinone. Now, pay attention. There is something that is unique about B6 or common amongst these B6, B9, and B12. A common difference of 3. 6, 9, 12. 3 as a common difference. So they have a common deficiency defect. Each of them, whenever any of them is deficient, it leads to a condition known as anemia. But the one that leads to a worse kind of anemia that can ultimately result in death is B12 deficiency. That one leads to a kind of anemia known as the pernicious anemia. Okay? Pernicious anemia. Then mind you, I said that it's also called cobalamin. The reason for that is because it contains a transition element called cobalt. Okay? And then you have diverse groups that can be attached to this cobalamin to form different kinds of cobalamins. If the hydroxy group is attached to cobalamin, it's called hydroxycobalamin. If it is the methyl group attached to it, it's called methylcobalamin. If it is the the cyano group attached to it, it's called cyanocobalamin. Okay? Then let's move on. Looking at B7. Now, B7 biotin is also called vitamin H. Okay? Now, when biotin is deficient in one's diet, it can lead to a condition known as dermatitis. Okay? That's the inflammation of the skin. In fact, it has been proven medically that persons that are exposed to overconsumption of raw eggs usually suffer from B7 deficiency, in that there is a protein that is present in raw egg that is called avidin. Now, avidin has a great affinity for biotin. So what happens is that those persons that consume raw eggs, when they consume the raw egg, the avidin in the raw egg will bind onto biotin, and thus making biotin to be unavailable for the body's use. Okay? And then we have which other one? C. Now, anything pertaining to tissue formation, vitamin C is actively involved in it. So imagine that vitamin C is deficient. It can as well lead to scarring of the blood vessels, and it can as well lead to the scarring of the gums and all that. And then that condition is summed up with a word, and that word is called scurvy. Scurvy can be deadly if not checked or if not treated early. Okay? And then we have calciferol, which is vitamin D. Deficiency of it in children leads to rickets. That is abnormal formation of the bones and usually even the teeth too. Then in children, this one is in children, then while in adults it can lead to osteomalacia. Okay, osteomalacia. Then while that of vitamin E deficiency, for E deficiency leads to sterility in animals, most especially birds. It has not been necessarily established in man, okay? But though it leads to other problems in man, like neurological problems, like problems with irritability and all that, okay? That's for vitamin E deficiency. Then K. Now, K deficiency, of course, you know vitamin K is actively involved in activation of the blood clotting factors. And of course, if it is deficient, it can lead to what is known as the inability of blood to clot easily. Okay? Inability of blood to clot easily. So leading to multiple lots or pounds of blood. Okay? So that's for vitamin K deficiency. So we'll be able to look at some deficiencies effect of these diverse vitamins. And then we are still left with for the mineral salts. We have mineral salts generally help in the proper functioning of the body's metabolism. And it can be divided into two parts. We have those that are required in large amounts, talking about the macro minerals, and those required in small amounts by the body, talking about the micro minerals. Examples of macro minerals include calcium, we have phosphorus, we have potassium, we have sodium, and then for the micro, we have iodine, iron, we have fluorine, and others. Okay, so those are for that of mineral salts. Then for water is a very essential class of food that, in fact, I can say without water there will be no proper digestion of food materials. Yes. And again, our enzymes in the body act best in our watery medium. And in fact, about 80% or 70% of the body's weight is made up of water. So water is a very, very essential class of food. And then we have the roughages, of which I've already told you when I started because of this lesson. The roughages are indigestible materials. They usually come in the form of fibers. They are fiber products, fibers. Okay, and then they aid in the easy passage of undigested materials, food materials, in our large intestine. And then, of course, it can actually lead to the prevention of constipation and flatulence if it is present in one's diet. So, we'll be able to cover quite a number of things just within the shortest time frame. So, it's my hope that you're able to understand everything that I've been able to explain. Okay? So, stay tuned to this channel and don't forget to subscribe, like, share the videos, and please comment about what you observe about the videos. Okay? So, I love you all. Thanks for watching.